Hey guys, welcome back to Circleville YouTube channel. For this video, I have some amazing new tool deals to share with you. We have some Home Depot deals and we have some Amazon deals. Really good stuff on this Monday afternoon. Now for the Home Depot deals, we're going to use those YouTube shopping links. I already found all of the items. So everything we see here, I'll have a little timestamp. I'll have the correct link. And boy, that's a rarity because YouTube is shit. But you'll be seeing in about 5 seconds this here rigid deal popping right up. And then all the Amazon links will be in the description down below. So that's nice and easy for us. Now, this deal is part of the Home Depot special buy of the day. So if you go to this page, you clicked on that little pop-up that came up. Go right here and you can see the full list. I scrolled through. I picked out what I thought was pretty good deals. But there was nothing that was like, go now, run, 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 go, get. But here we have the rigid 18-volt cordless 4-tool combo kit, 4-amp-hour battery and 2-amp-hour battery, the battery charger and bag. Normally $328 down to $239. Now we're getting 6 amp hours worth of battery, and then we're also getting that charger. But if we kind of just equate those to the $39 portion of the price, which are actually worth more than that, you're paying $50 a tool, which is really good. So if you want to get into Rigid's lineup, and everyone, I don't have any Rigid tools, so I'm not well versed in it, but they have their little lifetime service plan or whatever when you register the tools, and that seems to be a pretty good hit with people when they like talk to me. When I shit on Rigid, that's one of the things that get brought up. So Rigid owners must like it. My thing about Rigid is I don't know why it exists. I feel like I would just go a different direction, but people like their Rigid tools, so you go ahead and like them. You just sleep with them at night if you like. I don't mind. Next up, we have the Milwaukee M12 Fuel High-Speed 3/8-inch cordless ratchet with two 5-amp-hour batteries down to $184.99. Last week, we either saw this exact deal or something extremely similar. I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember this exact ratchet, and it came with a battery or two. The ratchet itself is normally $199.99. So with this deal, you're already saving $15 on the ratchet, but then you're also getting two 5-amp-hour batteries. And they're, expensive. So that is a really good deal to throw those in with what is my favorite of the cordless ratchets. Now, if you don't want the ratchet, this deal with the two 5-amp-hour batteries had several different tool options. I also threw this one in because you thought you might be interested, but if you checked out the full list, there was maybe 4 or 5 total options there. So here we have the 5 3/8 cordless circular saw with those same batteries. I kind of like the little baby guy. I'm coming around to the smaller circular saws because I feel like they still have a good cut depth. As long as you can cut 2x with it, it's got the power and the blade depth to do that. You're still doing most of what you need. You don't necessarily need like the bigger 7 1/4 or something. So I've come around, and this one, it's a little unique because a lot of them you get even small, you get to that like 3.5 blade or something, which is still pretty good. I like that DeWalt one, but nice, compact. It's gonna be lightweight for you, and the 5s will be pretty good. Of course, this is 12 volts, so that's a little. I think it'll be okay. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background, but I heard like a crashing noise, and I'm the only one in the house. So I thought, oh, Scooter's doing something. So I got up real quick. And I thought, oh, let's check on Scooter, make sure he didn't, because he hurt himself the other day. So anyway, I go around the corner. He's sleeping on the couch. I'm like, well, I was in here. I was making noise with a different kind of noise, and he's sleeping on the couch. Something went boom. So someday I'm going to open up a closet or go somewhere that I don't normally go, and there's going to be shit laying on the floor back. Oh, that's what that noise was that day. That's what it was. Okay. Here we are on to Amazon. This thing I thought was pretty unique. Again, all these will be in the link in the description down below. The 2-pack light socket to plug adapter, pull chain 2-3-prong light socket adapter. Again, a 2-pack by Ledaclonic, and it's 40% off. So normally $10 is going to be down to $6. Is that right? Close to that. Now this is the last day that this promo code is good, but I thought these were really cool. So you screw it into your socket, you still get your light bulb at the bottom. It has a pull chain on-off, which you could use, or if you have it switched, whatever you want to do. But then we also still pass through with the outlets plug-ins on the side, because they have the other adapters. Like the most common adapters, you screw into the light socket and you get your outlet, but then you lose your light functionality. So I was just thinking when I saw this, man, before I did a bunch of rewiring in the damn basement, this would have been a great thing for me to have several years ago. And I think a pretty good price for getting the 2-pack on them. Offset extension wrench, 15.4 inch tight reach extension wrench set, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch square drive adapters, 1/4 inch socket by Xcon. It's 30% off. These things are actually pretty neat. It also came in yellow, and this link should bring you to both the orange and yellow. And the promo code coupon worked for both, but the yellow one was limited stock, so I posted the orange one. But as far as I can tell, they're completely the same otherwise. Starts out at $29.99. We have a 30% promo code and then a $6 coupon. I think it brought it down to about $15 or so. And so what it is, you have square drive on both ends, and there's a mechanism in here. I'm not exactly sure what drives it, but you put your ratchet on this side, you put your socket on this side, and when you turn here, it turns over here. So if you're in a tight spot or something and you're trying to get into some place, this will give you that like distance. Even if it's not so much you can't get to it, you can't get the ratchet head in there. If you have no swing arc in that spot and you get out here and now you can give it 180 degrees or something, then you're pulling it out a lot faster. You always want to make sure you pull it out fast enough because that's 18 years worth of problems. So we have the 1/4, the 3/8, and the 1/2 inch, and they also have this little adapter for like an insert bit. I actually bought something very similar. It was one of my only Wish purchases ever. So I actually did a video. I will put it in I'll put a pinned comment on my Wish video of my first ever Wish purchase because it was a total shit show, and you might want to check that out. So I'll put that down there. But one of my only other purchases were one of these things. And I've never used it once because it didn't come with any of the adapters. It was just the tool itself. And I don't have a double square drive adapter like that. I never care. I'm sure you can buy it somewhere, but I just never looked, never cared. So I bought the thing. It's been sitting in the toolbox, and I've never used it because I got the other end. So that's our offset extension wrench. Here we have a laser measure, 165-foot laser measure, tool, digital laser, distance, meters, backlit LCD, measure distance, area, volume, Pythagorean theorem. And it's by Huepar. 50% off, normally $24. 50% is going to bring it down to $11.99, which is about the best price I can remember seeing on one of these laser meters. If you don't have one, they're really nice to have around. This one isn't the best in the world. So it's got good range. Like I have a Bosch one that's only 65 feet, and that really limits it, and especially like in any outdoor thing. Like you couldn't even measure your house or anything at 65 feet. It's good for interior stuff if you're doing short distances, measuring a room or whatever. But it has its limitations at 65 feet. I also have one that's 328 feet. I don't know about you, but I can't see 328 feet away. So unless I'm trying to hit like something huge, it's not super practical at that distance. So I do think the mid-range one is pretty good. This one has disposable batteries, which for pretty much anything, I'm not a huge fan of disposable batteries. But, you don't have to worry about a battery not holding the charge anymore, and it's certainly easy enough to keep an extra set of batteries with you or whatever. So it's not like the end of the world. I'm not a huge fan of the disposable batteries. And then this one, it has a red laser beam, which the greens are a little bit better than the reds. You can see them better and everything. So it's super cheap, and it's a good way just to get one, but it's also not like the best one you can buy, which should be expected because it's super cheap. But $11.99. 750-pound folding loading ramps. You can almost load a bear with those. Pickup truck, bed, ramp, trailers, ramp, load, straps, motorcycle, dirt bike, UTV, lawnmower, truck. 40% off on the singular loading ramp for pickup trucks, bed, blah, blah, blah. $74.99. It is 40% off. That's going to go through the 15th. Look at that. They're even going to throw in some gloves for you. I definitely want to get some ramps for the truck. First I got to measure. But I need to get the lawnmower in the bed of the truck. But I definitely need to measure first, because if it doesn't fit, then that would suck. Like, why'd I buy these ramps? Could be good for the trailer, though. Although, oh man, can I give you... Okay, hold on. So I'm going to save this story for the end because plenty of people don't want to hear it. But if you want to hear, I had my own little WWF tables, ladders, and chairs match the other day. And it involves those things and me falling off the ladder. And if you want to hear a story about that, stick around to the end. Okay, next up. 50-pack rubber bungee cords, 21-inch long, weatherproof, natural rubber tie-down straps, crimped S hooks, heavy-duty outdoor straps by Vore. So we had a different variation of this with a promo code a month or so ago, and it might have been a 50-pack as well, but it was a variety as far as the different lengths. This one, they are all 21 inches. Starts out at $43.72. 50% off, going to be about $21, $22 for 50 of them. So is it about 50 cents a piece on the bungees? I really like the rubber ones better than the little like elastic shitty ones. My preference is rubber. It also says they are stainless steel as far as the S hooks. Super useful. Got to have those around. Here we have a pocket knife, resource, thumb studs, folding knife for men, steel blade, green G10. That's plastic, basically. Lightweight, a resin of some sort. G10 handle by Cricut Jury Root Beer Cutlery. And it is 30% off. Nice little folding knife there. Normally $68.79, 30% off. Was that $49, $44, something like that. You got the little thumb stud on the side. Yep, that's what we got. Craftsman Mechanics tool set, socket wrench set, SAE, quarter-inch drive. It is currently $13.99, actually. I saw it went up 50 cents. So quarter-inch SAE sockets. You're getting the ratchet, you get the little baby extension, and you get a couple of sockets. Back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago when this was available, when you would get the sale price at like Ace Hardware or something, you could get this for $9.99. The regular price is listed at $25. I don't know how often or how many people are buying it at $25, but $13.99, you know, everything's gone up in the last couple of years, so I still think it's a good deal because, you know, you're getting a whole little set. It's going to come in a little case so you can carry it with you or, you know, do some basic homework stuff, but it is just a little set, you know, a little quarter-inch drive. You know, the ratchet's the star of the show, obviously, because the sockets don't have a ton of value, but at $13.49, it's better than $25. Heat shrink, solder, seal, wire connectors, 120-piece waterproof butt connectors. Heat shrink electrical terminals by Kuject. And they are 30% off. Handy dandy case. Get all your little sizes, your little white guys all the way up to your big yellows and then your reds and your blues in between. $8.99, 30% off. Really like the solder seal if you haven't tried it yet. People definitely I've seen use lighters on these things, but I'm kind of worried about using a lighter on it. I always just use a heat gun, and it works really well. You'll see the solder ring in the center start to shrink, and then you keep going and you keep going, and it'll kind of like dissipate, but it like dissolves into your wires there. And then these little rings here, when you heat up the whole thing, you'll get a nice watertight seal. I usually like to throw a little heat shrink tubing over the top of it. I don't know if there's actually any legitimate reason for doing that, but I just kind of like to do that as well. Although you got to give it some time, because if the solder seal is like super hot and then you try and slide the heat shrink over it, it melts before it gets to its final resting place. So you do got to let it cool a little bit. And really you want to let it cool before you like give it a yank or anything. I made that mistake once. But like, hey, is that a good connection? And it was still too hot, and I pulled on it and just, oh. Yeah, don't do that. Laser level, self-leveling, cross-line laser, 100-foot, green cross laser, manual mode, waterproof, picture hanging construction, included magnetic bracket and battery. 40% off on this guy, $35.99. That promo code goes through the 21st, so it's not a full 360, but you do get your cross line and a little bracket. And this looks like, I can't tell from the picture, but it looks like this is a standard tripod mount there. So if it is, and that makes total sense, that's what it should be on something like this. Then if you have, a regular tripod, you can mount this on anything you want and go at it. So it does use 2 AA batteries, which again, not rechargeable. We already did the whole spiel with the other one. Not the end of the world, but $35.99, 40% off. I was actually just using one of these. I bought if you watch the videos on the second channel, I bought a 24 pack of hat hangers, like you stick them to the wall, and it worked out super well using a little cross line laser level to get all my space. And I did like a grid of them, and I still needed a tape measure to get the inches right, but to make sure everything was straight and up and down. And once you just measure one, just give me my cross point in the middle. Now I know where to go on top. I know where to go on bottom. Boom. Perfect. So I was really happy how that turned out. Well, anecdote of me using a similar tool just over the weekend. Rotary tool accessory kit, 357 pieces, 1/8-inch diameter shanks, universal fit, easy cutting, grinding, sanding, drilling, engraving by Apex Forge. It is 40% off. Rotary tool not included. $34.97. That is a 40% on-page coupon for that guy. Really love the cases where you can hold it all together, and then it's also really easy to tell if you about wore something out or if you've used it all up, especially the little cutting discs and everything, because you can go through those pretty quickly depending on what you're doing with them. But really like cases like that. Here we have a Jomgand jump starter with air compressor, 12-volt car lithium battery booster pack, jump box, 150 psi tire inflator, 60-watt power delivery, two-way fast charging, 30% off, but also a $50 coupon. So both of those discounts will come off the top. It starts out at $135. We're going to take 30% off of that, which is like $45, $40-ish. And then we're going to take another $50 off of that, so that's $90. So it's going to be like $150. Is that close to what it is? Not $150, just $50. Move the one. It's something close to that. You guys know I don't do math. I'm probably like $40 off. The problem is, or the good thing is be the opposite of the problem. What I like is it does both. I like having an inflator in the car, and I like having a jump starter in the car because I like to be prepared. I don't like being stranded on the side of the road. I've been stranded on the side of the road. Don't like it. It sucks, especially in the winter. Terrible. So I'm going to do my best Boy Scout impersonation, and I'm going to be prepared. And this gives us a 2-in-1. Not only can we jump start that battery, but we can also inflate our tires. So one less extra thing we got to have back there. And these Jomgand people, they make a ton of stuff. They sent me a free jump starter 2 years ago, maybe. It's probably one of the nicest ones I've had. I probably had like 10 or 15 of them because there was a stretch where like every company in the world was making one, and they were just giving them away. They must have a huge profit margin on these things because they just loved giving them away at one point. But it was probably one of the nicest ones I got. It wasn't this exact thing though. Weehaw! Push button, adjustable water pump pliers. It's a 3-pack, basically the same as the Knipex Cobra pliers. Really love these push buttons. A little bit easier than the tongue groove style. You get a finer adjustment out of them, a little bit easier to use. These are on sale for $66.92, and that's price matching Acme Tools, but Acme Tools will add in a shipping charge on that. And then Tool Up has them for $86.99, and Hoss of Tools has them also for $86.99. And I found these using my tool deal search. If you want to go to that link there, you can search by type of tool or by brand, whatever you want to do, and see a bunch of stuff that is currently on sale. So one of my favorite ways of finding deals that I post for you fine folks. So all of those are going to be linked down below. The Home Depot deals, we got the little pop-up things, and then they should also be in some kind of a box down below. I don't know. And then, okay, here's my tables, ladders, and chairs match story for you. So, if you watched the video a couple of months ago, I spent like the whole damn day building that gazebo. Remember, Vore sent the gazebo. They kind of pissed me off because the one they sent me ended up not being the exact one that then they gave me as the link. And it was very similar. Like, it was the same size and everything. But like the video was how to put this together, and then it was different. So like, yeah, but if they get it, it's a different fucking thing to put together. So they annoyed me with that. But spent all day building that damn thing. And my plan was to put up a little 6-foot fence connecting my new garage extension to the house, and then do like a little patio or deck or something, and anchor the gazebo thing to that, and have a whole little thing right there, right? That was the idea. And then I used their little spikes, the spikes that they gave, and boom, 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 and I put them in there. And we had a really good storm here. I actually recorded some of it, but then I thought it wasn't very interesting, so I deleted it. But it was kind of cool watching the clouds like roll in. And I was standing out in the backyard, and the news said we had wind gusts of up to 70 miles an hour. So, it was a pretty windy day. But with this gazebo, I had the curtains all pulled up, and I even had them like folded and tucked into the corner. So I thought, it's using their spikes, and the curtains aren't like, they shouldn't have much drag on them, and the wind should just like blow right through this thing. Wrong. So I live in the middle of a cornfield. There's nothing that stops or slows the wind at all. I got a little bit of trees, but there's a pretty good gap where this gazebo is. Anyway, it flew about 200 feet past the driveway all the way to the other side of the property, and it's been laying there because this was a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I don't got time to deal with this. I'm just going to leave it there. It looks broken anyways. I'm not in a hurry to pick it up. What do I care? So I spent a couple hours fixing this thing. I got it back right up, and one of the legs actually crunched, like just bent right in half, right in the leg, which I thought was pretty impressive because that's boxed all the way around. So I was able to straighten that thing out, and a bunch of the frame pieces were all fucked, and the rivet nuts pulled out of the metal. So I learned that that's the most likely way a rivet nut fails. It's not stripping the threads or whatever. It's reliant on the strength of the metal that it's fastened to, and if you pull hard enough, it just pulls it right through. So the problem was that also deformed the metal there, so I couldn't just put a new rivet nut in. I ended up drilling it out a little bit and then putting a bigger rivet nut, and that worked for most of them, but one of them still just kept pulling through. Like I couldn't get it right. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know. But so I get it all back together. I don't have the roof panels back in yet because I thought, why put the roof back in if this thing's going to go flying again? At least not having the roof panels in will have even less something for the wind to grab onto. So here's my problem. Now this thing's laying in the middle of the yard. I'm not tall enough to put my hands over my head and pick it up. Okay, it's taller than me. And it's 10 by 10 square. I want to put it in the back corner of the yard. In the back corner, there's an L of trees. And I thought if I put it inside this L, at least, and they're pine trees, I'm going to at least be blocking the wind from the north and from the west, which is the majority of the wind. And this thing will be less likely to fly back there. And if the wind comes from the other direction, all it's going to do is blow it into the trees. So I'm feeling pretty good about putting it back here instead of where I had it, which totally ruins my other idea, but whatever. Okay, so now I got to get this thing over there. And I don't want to just like drag it several hundred feet. It's the other side of the yard. So my wise idea was to get my trailer. I got my Harbor Freight 4x8 flatbed trailer, right? I'm going to roll it underneath the thing, right? And it's one of those multi-position ladders where you can move it all over the place. And I wanted to stack up wood so that the middle of the gazebo would be resting on the wood, like the frame of the middle, the roof of the gazebo would be sitting on it, and the legs would be up off the ground, and I could slowly just pull the trailer to where I was going to go. Like in my head, I was thinking, hey, this is a pretty good idea. I think this is going to work. So I got the trailer, which I got the trailer jack on the front, which is keeping it level. I get the ladder on there, and I get my wood. And the gazebo, it's like heavy, but it's not insanely heavy. Like the reason I can't pick it up is because I'm not tall enough. If you were like 6'5" or something, you could probably just picked up the damn thing. But I can't do that. So I'm picking up the gazebo and I'm sliding these pieces of wood in. Now I don't know exactly what I did, but I leaned back a little bit. And leaning back was leaning in the opposite direction of where the trailer jack is, right? So when I leaned back, trailer starts falling, ladder starts falling, wood starts falling. And I got 2x4 walls built around the trailer because it's good for all my sticks and putting trees and stuff in there. And I don't know how it happened. I know I smashed the shit out of my knee, I think, on the ladder. I didn't go to the ground, but somehow it leaned back and I went over the top rope, just like a Royal Rumble, man. I got eliminated. And I landed on my feet still, but I went over the top of the 2x4s and the ladder smashed into the 2x4. I don't really know what happened after. I mean, it was still all standing there. But there was a lot of banging because then also the gazebo at that point was sitting on the wood and kind of up on the block. So it kind of crashed, but it still stayed. And I fell off the damn ladder. I'm glad I stayed on my feet, although that was crazy. Like, God damn, forget this. So then I said, because now I'm mad. Now I just fell off a damn ladder. My knee hurts like shit. It's still a little swollen, and this was a little bit ago. No, I'm just going to grab one of the legs on this thing. I'm dragging this son of a bitch over there. And if it gives me a hard time, I'm getting a tow strap with the truck. And whatever is left by the time we get it to its spot is where it's left. I was able to drag it over there. That might have been a better idea in the first place. But I thought for sure, man, this thing's already all bent up and stuff. I'm going to break it just trying to get it over there. So that's my little tables, ladders, and chairs story. But it felt like it because, you know, like a ladder match, the old school ladder matches, and they hang the belt at the top, and you're on the ladder, and they got knocked off the ladder and stuff. I was doing all that. I was going for the belt, except for my belt was wood that I was trying to stack up there. Yeah. And then some asshole came and pushed the ladder, and I went flying back. So there it is. That's my story. All right, guys. All the links are down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give the video a like, subscribe, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.